I'm Rex Cafe, and I'm the game designer of Absturz. Absturz is a German or Dutch word which means crash, and this game is based on the actual historical event that happened in the late 1500s. Basically, the Dutch, or the Netherlands, were acquiring their tulips from Turkey. And as they acquired these tulips, they were still extremely rare at that time, and some of the tulips acquired some type of a virus called mosaic, which basically gave them these flames of color and were really gorgeous. And the prices just kept going up, and they were very rare. And so people started noticing the prices, and of course the speculation began, and prices just continued to go up and up and up and up. And eventually, like all speculative bubbles, it crashed, and basically people started selling, panic happened, and they sold it regardless of the prices. And so this historical event is the theme of the game. In the game, there are three major mechanics. The first one is auction. So this is an auction game. The second is deck building. So you're going to be auctioning things that you're going to be building your deck with. And then the third element is pressure luck. So let's take a look and see how the game plays. Here's gameplay of Absturz. You will put the board in the middle of the game, of the table. You will have a spring deck, and you'll have a summer deck. And also we have an alms pile. And the way this game works, this board, is basically a track. You have your yellow tulips, your blue tulips, your red tulips, and your black tulips. Everyone starts with two yellow tulips, and in their first season that we start, which is spring, there will be blue tulips and a few red tulips. And then once we get to the springs, we go into the summer, which has red and a few black tulips. Each player will take one deck. So there's a blue deck, there's also a yellow deck, there's also a purple, and there's a red. And what we do is we have 5 phases of the game. We start off with the draw phase. So you'll draw 5 cards. So once we've done our drawing of our 5 cards, we then start the action phase. And the action phase is just a phase that some cards have a special ability that can apply at that phase. In this case, this particular card can be trashed, taken out of your pile, and put into the trash pile. And this allows you to draw 2 new cards. The next phase we start is the bidding phase. So in this example, blue has 4 coins and a tulip. Now tulips are just victory points, and they don't do anything except hold a spot in your hand until you get rid of them. But they're not worth very much points, as you'll see in the beginning of the game. They become worth more and more. So at the highest price, a yellow tulip can sell for 60. So the way to begin bidding phase is we'll flip over 3 cards, starting in the spring season, since that's the season, starting with minimum bid 1, 2, and then 3. The starting player, who blue is, gets to select any of the cards to sell or to purchase. So he may select this one, or the coin cards, or he may go for this one for a minimum of 1. If no one wants this, I can maybe bid this and actually get it for 1, and then I can get it for cheap. Otherwise, I'm hoping someone will spend 2 or 3 on it, and they'll take them out of the bidding for these other ones, and then I could get these for a cheaper price. So there's a lot of strategy in how you bid and which ones you pick to get the cards you want. After those cards are done, then either all players pass, if there's any left, and they will slide to the cheapest price, or after all cards are purchased. Either case, that will end the bidding phase. The next phase is the selling phase. And in the selling phase, in our example, this player has only 1 card left, and it's a tulip. And in this phase is when you can sell it. And it works by the starting player can choose to sell their tulip. Now, tulips currently in the market track are not worth very much. They're only worth $4. The way these increase in price is during the game, if you flip over a market card, the price of all the tulips will then adjust by 5 points, making them worth more points. When anytime someone sells a tulip, so if I decide to sell my yellow tulip, this will drop the price down by 1, and then I will score those victory points. This is the only way victory points are scored. But you'll notice that victory points are very low, and that you might want to hold on to those tulips till later in the game when they become worth a lot more points. The last phase is the cleanup phase, and this is very interesting. So depending on how many cards you have left, in this case I had none, I would draw 5 cards. But if I had cards in my hand This phase of the game, I can actually discard whatever cards I want to discard. So I may decide to discard those 2 cards and then draw back up to 5, which in this case would be 2 more cards. So this is a very huge strategy because you don't lose your coins that you don't spin that particular round. In the summer phase, there is a card that comes out in the second half of the deck called the Crash. Once this card comes out, this is the end of the game. Once the Crash comes out, no cards are purchased. All cards, starting with the starting player, can sell their tulips that are only in their hand. Once all tulips in hand are sold and the market is adjusted accordingly, you tally up victory points, and whoever has the most wins. Thanks for watching.